Hello and welcome to my new video. If you're new here, hi, I'm Lex, and today we are going to be looking at 5 different ideas for Animal Crossing island layout. This has been highly requested pretty much since I started my channel, so I'm excited to finally get to it. I feel like I was kind of intimidated by this video because I wasn't sure how to set it up. It's very different from my typical 15 ideas videos, but now that we're here, I am rather excited. Let's hop right into this first island. I didn't intend this when I was selecting islands, but the way I listed them, the order that I visit them in, is kind of least terraforming intensive to most intensive, loosely. Like, obviously there's not an active rating, but I thought that this island had some beautiful terraforming, beautiful landscaping, gardening, etc., and I thought that it seemed pretty achievable even for, you know, casual players. I think this island is a great example of keeping it simple and still feeling really majestic. The aesthetic on this island is so beautiful. I wanted to note as we're going that this island is very open. I thought this was a great example of navigable pathing. You know, it's wide pathways, everything is clearly laid out. You have a very nice path to follow as you're going. Like here we have this roadway that kind of goes all the way through the island. I thought that was a really nice touch because I, for one, really prioritize open pathing when I'm making or going to islands. I also thought it was cute how the shops were put together. I did tell these creators before I started that I would only be visiting islands for creators who are open to sharing their dream address and map so that we can look at them for this video. So this is the map for this island. Of course, we're missing some of the pathing because it's custom, so you can't see it on the map. So that's definitely something to think about before you start pathing. Do you want it to be visible on the map, or do you want it to just be on the island? You can always layer in-game pathing underneath custom pathing in the case that you do want it to show up on your map. Either way, I thought this island was super easy to get around. It's very understandable, and I liked the way that this island really kind of revolves around the buildings. The villager houses take up a big swath of the island. Their yards are super important. And then obviously we've got the shopping district back here. I saw the campsite to the left over there, but let's check out Able Sisters first. How cute is this? It's a simple but effective setup for the shops. I think it's really nice how they kind of border everything with fencing too. It helps keep you focused on the individual areas. It kind of separates them. Here's the campsite as well. This layout is really effective. They've got the campsite way in the back of the island, which, you know, it gets it out of the way, but it's still a very picturesque area, I think. I think this layout is really nice because look at these little opportunities for terraforming and just design that doesn't really have to do with the houses. There's still plenty of space that you can use for whatever builds you want to include on your island. I also really appreciate that the villagers all have their own yards and themes. You can kind of get a sense of villager personalities through the decor setup. And again, love how fencing is used to really, you know, separate the areas, to clearly define different segments of the island. All of these villager yards have really cute fencing that, you know, shows you this is their place, this is their setup. I also wanted to note this beautiful terraforming. There's just a butterfly pond in the middle of the island, and you could have seen that on the map as well. So another little thing to think about when you're making your map. Do you want to have fun terraforming? Like I mentioned, the terraforming does kind of increase in intensity as we go, so this island has a lot more cliffscaping and waterscaping, I think, than the previous one. I like how this one also kind of revolves around the buildings. Like here, I've just found a little pathway to the museum. Another thing I thought was important here is that there's not clear pathing, but you still understand the way you can go. Also, Kiki's house spotted. We gotta visit her, clearly. I think it's really cool how you navigate this with, you know, these just little stones and stuff. It's not like clear pathing that guides you around, but you still understand how to get around. So I thought that was important to the layout. Like, do you want to have an island? Also, trying to find Kiki's house and made it to the river mouth. Can't get over there. I just want to hang out with my queen. Like I was saying though, I think it's really cool to have this kind of natural setup. Of course, you're not going to see that on the map, but I think even the terraforming acts as a guiding hand on this island. You can kind of see where's open. You can tell by like the locations of bridges and inclines where you're going to want to navigate in order to access these different buildings, these different villager houses. And I think it's just a beautiful setup. This is a gorgeous example of a map. I was in awe of it. I also did figure out how to get to Kiki's house thanks to the maps. We're gonna head around. Again, got these like stone designs, some planks that guide you around, but it's very natural looking. This feels like, I don't know, like a magic forest vibe. Also really appreciated how Kiki has her own private beach over here. As we saw before, one side is cut off by the river mouth, and then the peninsula is covered by this cliffscaping. So Kiki really has her own little luxury resort vibe over here on the left side of the island. I really love that. I think that's a great idea for island layout when, you know, if you have a favorite villager, you can just create the best place on the island for them. It's what Kiki deserves, for sure. Something else I thought was cool was the way terraforming was used to create views here, so this can take up a really big portion of your island. Obviously, we've still got villager houses playing a role in this, so it's not like completely without an anchor, but creating views like that can take up a lot of empty space if that's what you're struggling with on your island. Just making cliffs into view opportunities, using waterscaping, even just making a forest that a cliff overlooks could take up a ton of space if you have large spaces that you're looking to fill. I thought it was really nice how this island approach was houses being very spread out. They're all over the island. There's not like a set up neighborhood that you can go and visit. You just have to kind of go around, and all of the villagers have their own little terraformed spaces. They all get to highlight where they live because the terraforming kind of boxes them in a little bit, makes every area very distinct, very I don't know, I don't want to say cut off because it's not cut off, but defined, like we saw in the previous island with fencing. Here it's achieved with terraforming. I am in love with this island's layout. I thought it was really interesting how they arranged buildings on the island, like the fact that this campsite is just a few feet away from the island entrance. I don't think I've ever seen a campsite this close to the island entrance. I thought that was a really, you know, interesting and fun choice. I also love the little hop opportunities with all of these little pieces of land in waterscaping. I thought that this island was designed so beautifully. I started to get the idea that there was color theming going on, and then I saw this area and I just knew. I knew that this island relied on colors to sort of designate separate areas on the island, the same way we've seen fences and terraforming used prior. I also caught this beautiful shot. This is an overlook. The custom design of water is so beautiful here. This kind of reminded me of a Greek scene. Like I felt like I was looking at ancient Greece. The rainbow too. What a beautiful touch. And look at this view. The creator's mansion over there in the middle of this custom design ocean. It was just awe-inspiring all the way around. I kind of just passed by this incredible setup we're about to go through, like the museum back there. Don't worry, we'll come back to it. I was obviously not paying attention closely enough. I love this too, how this space is filled with flowers. At first glance, you might not think that this island has super intense terraforming, but it is difficult to achieve symmetry on a small scale, sometimes in Animal Crossing. For this creator to have achieved symmetry for the whole middle of the map, look at how symmetrical the terraforming is. Even in smaller sections, like the museum is pretty symmetrical, even in that small section at the top. But the entire middle band of the island, symmetry with the houses, with the inclines, with everything. Just phenomenal layout. I thought this was so creative, and here I am revisiting the museum as promised. Look at that. I mean, imagine the amount of time it took not only to come up with these ideas, but to execute them in such a perfect way, keeping the symmetry vibe, keeping the decor so beautiful and eye-catching. It is just so impressive to me. And again, we see symmetry in small ways across the island, like the way there are 2 ladders here with the vines in the center. I just think it's so cute to have that symmetry work its way through the layout. That's another thing that you can do with your island. You know, symmetry can be difficult and tedious to maintain, but when it's successful, it is so beautiful. Also, look at this little gyroid guy behind the counter. This video is also serving as ideas for every part of your island. Here's a Nook's Cranny idea. Check out that little gyroid guy. He's there to check out for the plant shop. This was so beautiful to me. Again, we've got the shops very close to each other, and we are circling back near the entrance. So, like the campsite, Able Sisters and Nook's Cranny are very close to the entrance of the island. I really like that. I feel like it's kind of outside the box thinking. We've also got little sections of terraforming like this. Again, ideas for how to lay out your island in a way that you can rely on houses and things, but there are places where you can just build whatever you want. This is a rock garden and a beautiful view, and I thought it was executed beautifully. It's also functional. You can hit those rocks. There's space. Again, we're getting a sense of the color theming here as well. The houses all have their own themes. Red here, pink at this house, and then when you cross back here to the house in the back, there's white. I love this one, and orange and even yellow back there that you can see. Just incredible, incredible. I cannot wait for you to see the map for this island. You are going to have your mind boggled. But what I really appreciated about this island, hold that thought, because how incredible is it that they managed to pop a balloon at these specific places to create symmetry at Nook's Cranny with the presents. You can't drop presents like this. The only way to get them on the ground is to pop a balloon that's carrying a present and not open it. That was, wow. That's just so cool. Anyway, what I really appreciated about this island is the way the theme of the island really determines the layout too. I appreciated how, with the tropical vibes, this creator went out of their way to include buildings on the beach. They also look beautiful. There's Audie's house, I think. I thought the beach builds were fantastic. Here is the map, as promised. Are you as in awe as I am? Look at this. How complex is this? I mean, it is just wow. Again, I think that it is still totally achievable getting around the island. Like, it didn't feel claustrophobic or cramped at all, in spite of the sheer amount of beautiful terraforming that went into this, how there are very small spaces without terraforming that are packed full of decor. Somehow this creator managed to keep it from ever feeling, cramped at all. It's just a beautiful setup. Again, I thought that it was cool that the beaches played an important role on this island, because I, for one, avoid them. You can also see how beautiful just the pathways and everything are. I think this island layout is also just a gorgeous example of bush and flower and tree usage. The trees play a huge role in this island. The terraforming is kind of shaped around them as well, making sure that there is always room for trees to come in. I thought it was also nice how grand this entrance to the museum is. The terraforming and everything is incredible, and we do have symmetry vibes going on, which I always appreciate. This area is a good example of, the non-terraformed area. There is terraforming, obviously, all around it, but this is a little space kind of in that little nook over there, very calming. This is another island that does have spread out villagers, and I found this area and I just knew it was a diving spot. I was correct. The present is a diving suit. And I was like, okay, whatever. But then I was like, what if we went for a swim? Get in character for this island. That's what I owe these creators, to really appreciate what they've put into their islands. And this one is just a beauty for sure. I also really appreciated that I believe this island is pre 2.0 update. I think all of the items here were, before we got all the new stuff, which is what pre 2.0 update means. Look at this beautiful campsite area. I think the campsite was just made for the beach. I think it always looks great, but when I realized it was pre 2.0 was when I came to the pier. Cap'n can't go there, but it's a beautiful setup. I love the winding pathways, how they really contribute to the theme and are shaped by it. I love this layering with bridges. It was just beautifully done with elements of symmetry. Everything is sprawled out across the island. It does reflect a tropical paradise aesthetic. Here we've even got an infinity pool in the very back. Of course, the best place to put infinity pools is where you can have the sky as your horizon. Very beautiful. I thought that this was just amazingly set up. It's very complicated getting around the island, but the pathways are still open. You still, again, you can let the pathways guide you through. There's not really a place where you'll get lost. Alright, friends, family, and strangers, this is the 5th and final island for today's layout ideas video. What drew me to this island was the fact that the buildings are really concentrated to the left side of the island. So I was curious to see how the creator handled the right side, and we will go through that. But first, I just wanted to give you a sort of an idea of what the island looks like. It is so beautiful. It is so full of decor. This creator spent so much time just gathering items, I'm sure, but it all came together beautifully. It is so packed with stuff. I was just in awe of it. Look at this little bench set up too. I thought this was so cute. But yeah, this has got very urban vibes, very, very city. I love the way the villager houses are set up here. There's one of the villagers now. And I just love the way they took up small spaces with really unique builds, I think. Here is the map for the island. As you can see, all of the villager houses are on the left side, and there's like a lot of the island that's just open for, you know, whatever, especially this upper right corner. I thought that was super interesting, and I decided I had to see it for myself. I had to figure out how they filled all of this space, if not with villager houses, because I think they're my go-to for kind of filling space, you know, making a little mini neighborhood area. So let's go and explore here. Right off the bat, we have this kind of, I don't even know, it's like a mechanic shop maybe, a store of some sort. It gives old country vibes, like out in the middle of nowhere almost, but I think it's a little mechanic shop. Then we've got this stuff to the right, a little farmer's market. I thought it was so cute. And then this like construction area, maybe just the farm. And then we've got like a tavern aesthetic. This is like a bar over here. I love how distinct this feels. It feels like you're literally walking into a separate, you know, outdoor building. Does that, an outdoor building? You know what I mean? You know what I mean. But there were just beautiful ways that this creator took up their island with terraforming, with beautiful designs. I love how varied everything is. There are so many different aesthetics that kind of mark each space, and they all work out completely beautifully. I had to show you this area specifically because how cute is this? It's a little ketchup shop. I have to imagine, I can't remember if she was on the map, but I have to imagine that Ketchup lives here because how cute is this? Like a little diner, ketchup themed. I love it. I think it's absolutely adorable. I guess that doesn't really have anything to do with island layout, but you know what? Had to be noted. Had to be noted. That brings us to the end of our video today. I hope that you're feeling so inspired. I hope that you loved these islands as much as I did, and they gave you sort of an idea how different island layouts work, how they function, how you can set up your island in different ways and still have it be functional, navigable, and aesthetically pleasing. Thank you so much to the creators who allowed me to visit today. It was a blast, and your islands are phenomenal. If you would like to submit your island for a future video, check out my Discord at the link in the description, and you can submit your own island for future ideas videos. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day. Bye!